You're listening to DMR.
I'll be throwing one of these in with every purchase of 500 million or more. It's a piece.
Alright. Welcome back to DMR for the grand finale, the top 10 2023 DMR list. So it's been a massive year for film yet again. It's been a huge year for DMR as well, with interviews with Hollywood directors, and of course the interview with the vice president for Neon Global. They do all the movie exhibitions, and we've been approached by Saban Films to review a few of their films as well. So some really good opportunities. So the only way is up. So before we kick off with the top 10 list, let's go over one more suit from our partners, which is MJ Bale. So here we have the FIFO charcoal jacket and trousers, absolutely sharp looking suit and colour, a must for your MJ Bale collection. So coming in at number 10, we've got Knock at the Cabin, a film by M. Night Shyamalan. This is a definite return to his form, this director. So he's been hit and miss over the last couple of decades, but I do feel that he has come back swinging very hard with Knock at the Cabin. A very good thriller type film about a gay couple who rent out a cabin in the woods, and then these mysterious people come and basically say that one of them has to die or the world is going to end. They have to make an unbelievable choice, and us as the viewer sit back and have to figure out whether this is all bullcrap or if things are really going down as this particular death cult, or so they look like a death cult, are telling the family. So go back and check that one out. It is a cracker of a film. So let's get into the 9th position, shall we?
I might.
If summer doesn't sing in you, then nothing sings in you.
So coming in at number 9, we've got Maestro. This was an absolute cracker of a film that's just been released on Netflix, and I must say that Netflix have really stepped up their game in terms of quality films that they are releasing. So this stars Bradley Cooper as the famous Maestro, which was Leonard Bernstein. I had no information about Bernstein, I've only heard of his name. However, this biopic really had me engaged. Fantastic performances by all of the cast and crew. Cooper directed it, and it was also produced by Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg as well. So very good biopic about this particular conductor with his personal struggles, with his relationship with his wife. And he also has relationships with men as well, and the wife had to deal with that, and also his own struggles where he basically feels that he's not contributing to the music industry by just basically redoing older style pieces of music and not his own. So I found this film very engaging, and it's a cracker to watch on Netflix, so make sure you check that one out. So let's jump into number 8, shall we?
What's the plan? We build a shoe line around just him.
I need the greatest basketball shoe that's ever been made. Who's the player?
Michael Jordan.
So coming in at number 8, we've got Air, the story about how the Air Jordans came to be. So this was a heavy dialogue film. It stars Matt Damon and a few other big names as well, but very intriguing story. And what I did like about it is that it didn't focus too much on Michael Jordan. He's in the film, not Michael himself, but an actor portraying the younger version of Michael Jordan. They didn't focus too much around him. Yes, he's mentioned a fair bit. However, it wasn't about him. It was more about the CEOs and the workers at Nike and how they produced the Air Jordan. So this movie, if you like the movie The Big Short, you're going to love this particular film. I love the movie The Big Short because it's about the global financial crisis. So very interesting, true stories that kind of catch you off guard, and they're really engaging. So make sure you check that one out. Had a lot of fun with this particular film, and Damon knocked it out of the park as per usual. So let's go into number 7. So coming in at number 7, we've got The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender and directed by David Fincher. So this particular film, you're going to mix these two together, which is a very potent actor who plays mainly bad guys. I think 95% of the characters he's portrayed up on the screen have been bad guys. And of course you've got Fincher, who directed the likes of Fight Club, my favourite movie. And of course you've got movies like Seven, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which I haven't seen. I've got to go back and watch that one. But this film was very, very cool. I love the look of it. It's very similar to Fight Club with the cinematography in it, with the dark blues and yellows and all that type of stuff. But very methodical serial killer or hitman type movie. If you like that style of movie, you're going to love it. But I kept engaged with this particular film. The ending was a little bit off the charts in terms of what I thought it would hit, but I still found it was a very good film, so worth a watch. So let's get into number 6.
Du willst das Gold? Friss es!
Und Blood und Gold, number 6. Jeez. This film was nuts. It was nuts. I'm pretty sure it came out on Netflix as well. Again, they're doing very, very well this year in terms of quality films. The Killer was on Netflix as well. I think I might have mentioned that. So, Blood and Gold is the story of a German soldier who basically betrays his Nazi commanders in World War II. He is left for dead, and then basically he has to go back and fight them all when they're looking for gold, I think, in a particular village in Europe somewhere. This film was basically like Inglourious Basterds / Wolfenstein, the game, if you ever played that. It was nuts. Very, very enjoyable film. Very much in your face, big roller coaster ride, but go back and check that one out. It's very, very entertaining if you're into that style of movie. So let's go into the top 5.
Come on.
The only way John Wick will ever have freedom and peace is in death.
So coming in at number 5, we've got John Wick Chapter 4. So this many films into a franchise, usually the films start to suck, they get watered down, and they lose their potency like they did with the 4th Matrix movie, which ironically stars Keanu Reeves as Neo. They really did stuff that one up. I gave that one my 3rd rating, but over time it should have got a lesser rating because it's not a great film at all. But in this particular circumstance, John Wick number 4 is very, very good. It knocks it out of the park. The cinematography is awesome. He basically kills, I think it's like 150 odd people in the film. His gun kata is immaculate when he's fighting everybody. It's just a very cool style of movie. And for a 4th installment, a very decent job at keeping the story together and keeping the audience engaged. So well done to Keanu Reeves for that one. So let's move on to number 4.
Ethan, what's your objective?
So coming in at number 4, we've got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Very big mouthful, that one. So I saw this at the cinema, and then I saw it recently on a plane coming back from Perth. And I've got to say, I really did enjoy this particular film. So don't go into it thinking it's all going to be wrapped up in a nice little bow. This is the first time they've done a Mission Impossible film in 2 parts. I love basically all of these movies except for the second one. I found it quite boring. It's the least amount of times I've watched a Mission Impossible film, but this is a very good first installment. I really did love what they did with the villain in this particular film. I'm not going to go into too many spoilers, but you see it in the trailer. Tom Cruise is a nut. He's an absolute nut. I don't know how they get insurance of this particular guy, but he's jumping off cliffs on a motorbike, and they basically crash the Orient Express, the steam train in Europe. Very, very cool movie. So looking forward to part 2 of that particular film. Alright, so let's get into the top 3. I really had to juggle these around a few times to find out which one was my best film, but let's go into it nonetheless.
You are just a tiny little brute that is nothing without me.
All of Europe is uniting forces against me.
What's the outcome of this if you don't succeed?
Your Majesty, we are discovered.
Good.
So coming in with the bronze, we've got Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Ridley Scott. So just a little side note, when I did these reviews, some of them I gave my number 1 review for, fresh out of the cinema. Some I gave my number 2 review for, but again, over time, you start to get more in depth with a particular movie. But anyway, let's park that aside. So Napoleon, obviously we've got the Conqueror, the Emperor, what have you, the General of the Armies back in France, which was an absolute basket case in the 18th century. And it shows the life of Napoleon and his wife, which is played by Vanessa Kirby. Very good film. A lot of people thought that this film wasn't as great as it made out to be. I think it's in the 60s in Rotten Tomatoes, but I found it was very, very good. It went for 2 hours and 40 odd minutes, but apparently there's a 4-hour version coming to Apple. So pacing issues a little bit with the particular film, but maybe that 4-hour cut will smooth those out. So let's get into the top 2 for 2023.
This is a matter of life and death. But I can perform this miracle.
World War II would be over. Our boys would come home.
That's happening, isn't it?
So coming in the second position, all the silver, we've got Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt. There's a huge list. Robert Downey Jr. is in this film as well. Probably Downey Jr.'s best acting, I would say. This movie is very heavy in dialogue. It's a 3-hour movie, if memory serves, about the creation of the atomic bomb and the lead up to them dropping a bomb, and then the aftermath of how Oppenheimer has to deal with the weight of what he has created and how he has changed the world forever. You've got Einstein, he's in the movie as well. I won't go into too many spoilers, very small part in that particular film, but this is a great World War II movie. Very, very engaging. It's very heavy with quantum physics and science talk and all that jazz. So if you don't like that, you're not going to be liking this film. I would love to watch it again, but I did go and see it at the cinema. Apparently it took 2 months to shoot, and there was no CGI with the atomic blast in the particular film. So Chris Nolan, the director, has done very well with this particular film, and I thought it was a very good World War II, very educational as well. So here we go. The number 1 position for 2023.
Evil surrounds my heart.
You gotta pick a side.
I don't even know if you love me anymore.
Of course I love you.
And kill these men who killed my family.
So there you have it, the gold position, which is Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. You've also got Robert De Niro and Lily Gladstone, directed by one of my favorite directors, which is Martin Scorsese, about the Osage Indians and their rich oil fields, with all the white folk flocking to that area, basically marrying into those families and creating a whole heap of murder plots and knocking these people off one by one. And with DiCaprio, his character he portrays in the film, he does a very good job at it, but he's very much a weasel in this particular film, as I mentioned in my other review. But Lily Gladstone is the standout performance in this film. She carries it very much so, but of course Robert De Niro does a great role as per usual. So big runtime on it, 3 hours and 26 minutes, but it's a very interesting story. I did give it my number 2 rating at the time, but as time passes, you think about the film a little bit more, and I probably should have given it my number 1 rating. So there you have it, the list for 2023. Thank you for tuning in. A massive thank you to all the fans and all the downloads for the podcast and the views here on YouTube and whatnot. And we will see you next year. No doubt it's going to be another massive year of film. And as per usual, laters on Menges. So that's a wrap for DMR for 2023. Thank you all for tuning in.